there, Julia here. I just got back from the San Francisco Pen Show. We've prepped together, so now we gotta have the debrief. I'll share what I brought back and I'm sure ramble about the lovely experience I had at my very first San Francisco Pen Show. Definitely the largest show I've attended so far. So I'm gonna break it down by stationery, buys and tools and inks. We'll swatch them. We'll talk about workshops, nib grinds, and pens, of course, and just some other thoughts on the show in general. So let's just talk about some notable stationery and tools. I'm not gonna lie, I have ephemera from the show like bleeding from my ears. There's just tons of stickers and little freebie cards and contact cards and just so many just little cute things that have been traded and gifted and things that I picked up in de-stashes and meetups. So won't be going through all of that, but one of the very first stops I made at the SF Pen Show was to Yamamoto paper. I said in the prep video that I was on the hunt for new paper. It's been a little bit of a separate but related rabbit hole that I've been in this year since the Tomoe River paper debacle. So I heard about this Canopus paper from Brad of the Pen Addict, and I absolutely wanted to try it after hearing how excited he was about it. So I picked up this notebook in A5. It has plain paper. It's very white and it's very smooth, but not as smooth as that feeling you get with Cosmo Airlight or Marshmallow paper. It doesn't have that same squishiness to it as well. And yeah, I think I'm gonna like it. I can't wait to do some swatching on it, do some long form writing on it. I haven't mentioned on the channel yet, but I am a little bit over Cosmo Airlight paper, and it's taken me, 9 months to kind of get tired of it. It still is great for swatching, still great for showing ink properties, but I'm not liking it for longer form writing. We can get into paper stuff later, but Canopus note, it says the best paper for fountain pen, glass pen, ballpoint, gel, pencil. And yeah, I'm excited about this. Also from Yamamoto, I grabbed this writing pad, A5 of bank paper. Also plain paper. And it's funny, I don't think I've tried bank paper yet, but it does feel really smooth. It is bright white. And I'm very excited to see what different inks look like on here and to see if it's enjoyable for longer writing sessions as well. This is just like a little guide for plain paper. You can just put it under here and you can still write straight. So that's very nice of them to include that. I also grabbed this notebook from H Works out of Japan. And I'm not sure, there was a little bit of a language barrier here. So I'm not sure if this paper is called TI or titanium or paper note. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to do a little more research here, but this is also an A5. I did test the paper with the amount of notebooks that they had on the table. I'm not sure if this is the same paper that I tried, but it is a plain blank notebook, hardcover, lovely cover, like feels really sturdy. But the pages, some of them are white or like a very cool white, and then some of them are this gray color. And so it just goes back and forth, which is really interesting to me. And I wasn't expecting this when I bought it. So, I mean, that is something. But I feel like between these three, I have achieved the wish list check mark that I did find some new papers to try out. Speaking of that wish list, I did stop by Shown Design. I did get to try that awesome Evo pen, but I also picked up the 3 cleaning tools that I was after. I'm actually surprised that they brought these to the show, but I got a cleaning tool for the Yovo for Bach, which also works for Schmidt as well, so like your Banus, and also Pilot. So let's just, this doesn't have a nib in it, never mind. Okay, let's say we're cleaning out this Pilot Kakuno. I will grab the Pilot cleaner, fill it up with water or pen cleaner or whatever, stick it in here. It fits in there perfectly because it's designed to, and then blast it through. Blast the water or the cleaner through. And I mentioned this on the prep video, and since then I heard from someone who ordered it and they said they thought their pens were clean until they used this and realized that their pens were not as clean as they thought. So I'm very excited to try these out and see if they changed the game when it comes to cleaning my pens. I also grabbed, super excited about this. This is from Rob's Penworks, and this is a nib holder. And I just think that it's so fun. And I was talking to someone, I was like, with nib holders, I feel like I can just be off the wall, super fun, and do whatever. Even if my pens are a little more like not like more sophisticated or whatever, like my nib holders can be just whatever. And Rob told me a super cool story about his nib holders. Like, these are materials left over from making an actual fountain pen, and so he combines those for the nib holders. But yeah, super comfortable. It's a party in my hand. And then I got a Kakamori brass nib from Tori at Stationery Universe. She's a gem, and I'm very stoked about having a second Kakamori nib. I also have the stainless steel one that is attached to my wedding bouquet nib holder, and so I can have this one in here and have that one in the office to have some fun with the ink samples that are in there. So very important, very fun tool. So speaking of Tori at Stationery Universe, I also grabbed a couple of things from there. I also helped at the table for about an hour so she could take the Abby C workshop, and that was super fun to see people's excitement about all of Tori's collaborations and just her offerings. And it was super cool to see my stickers being sold and people being excited about those as well. So super fun. But also from Stationery Universe, I grabbed these 3, I think they're supposed to be cards. Yes, they are greeting cards designed by Lindsay Thomas, art and illustration. And I just thought that these were so nicely done. Am I going to use these for cards? Absolutely not. I'm probably going to mat them and put them up in the studio here as decoration. So look how lovely. Grab this from Rickshaw. It's a 3-pin sleeve with a very soft and cozy inside there. And I just thought that this was a fun little design here. I think it's from the Tempest collection. Looks like a fresh take on the Great Wave artwork. And yeah, I was drawn to this straight away and had to grab it. I also got a few things from Everyday Explorers Co. And I had to get a fun alphabet sticker pack, a couple of them. This one's like the retro flipboard from, like the airport, like travel style. These, and then a couple of these like olive, teal, and blue alphabet stickers. I was also whenever this sticker book came out, I tried to get it, but it was sold out immediately. So I was super happy to see that they had this book here. I just think that the stickers in here are very functional and ones that I can actually see myself using. The illustrations are really nice. The photography's really lovely. So I grabbed that, and then apparently there was a new one that's for everyday journaling and planning. And so I had to grab this one as well. Okay, let's move on to ink and do some swatching. I feel like I did a good job with ink. I'm no longer on a strict ink buying ban. And although I didn't really have inks on my wish list, I got some inks that I've had in the back of my head for some time, and some, just a few I kind of got on the spot. So first off, I grabbed 2 show inks. So this one was the one for this year's San Francisco Fog, but I also got the one, I think from last year, that's called Golden Gate Bridge. It's a very cool blue-gray. And while we're here, I'm gonna also be putting stuff into my ink directory. Wow, that's way more bright on the page than I was expecting. Very pretty though, very vibrant. Oh, it's got a little fun, subtle sheen happening there. Next up, I hit the Kobe table, and even though I screenshotted a beautiful brown chocolate ink, I totally forgot that I screenshotted it, and so I was not looking for it. But they did have kind of like this ink bar, and it reminded me of when you go to the grocery store in the beer section and you can get like the little 6-pack, and then you can like pick whatever beers that you want to go in your little mix and match 6-pack. So they had that for inks where you got like this little box, and they had a bunch of inks out, and you could mix and match your little Kobe ink box sample. And I thought that was super fun. I think it was like $30 for 5 of these samples, and I don't know how many milliliters are in here. If I had to guess, I don't know, like 10? I'm terrible with trying to guess that, but I did grab 5 of those, and I also got a full-size bottle of Akashi Museum Gold, which is in reality more of a olivey color. This is actually the first time that I'm seeing all of these inks swatched out like this. I did not get the opportunity to do that in San Francisco, and I haven't had a chance to do that until now. Wow, it's really pretty. Okay, I'm just gonna grab these, and I may not do as full of a swatch with these just because there's so many to get through. So this is City Loop Green, and it says special color. Gorgeous. This is Taiwan Alishan Green, also says special color. Wow, it's like a gray sagey green. Next up, I got Kobe number 53. This is Kitano Pearl Silver. Another beautiful, cool gray. Next, I have Kobe number 10, probably Mikaj gray. Another gray. I love gray inks. And I do believe that this one's more of a purpley gray. Yeah. And then finally for this set, I got Kobe number 40, Sumiyoshi Brown. I feel like all of the Kobe ones that I got are like in my usual color range here. It's really lovely. It's like a gray brown. The shading looks like it's going to be really nice and subtle as well. Exciting. Okay, and then over at the Blick table, I saw that they had some Kuretake inks, and I just thought that it was crazy. The table when I was over there was absolutely insane. I couldn't look at any swatches. I could barely see what was over there, but there was like a little corner across from the table, and I like hid away and looked up ink swatches online, and I really thought that this one was beautiful. This is Ibika, and yeah, so I grabbed it. When I could get to the table and get it, I got it. We can actually, let's go ahead and do a longer swatch for this one. Definitely pulling more brown on this Cosmo Airlight paper. I don't have all my other papers readily available. Let me grab some View Corona just because I'm curious. This is View Corona paper. I've been loving it lately. Just curious how that's gonna dry down. It's already a little lighter than what I see on here, so that's interesting. Even on the Kokoyo paper, it's giving a little more pinkish brown here, so. And then these last two inks, they're from Sailor, and I love Zare Gakoro, so I wanted to get a couple of other ones that I've seen in that same like super dark, moody line. And so I got Suki Gakoro and Date Gakoro. So we're gonna swatch those. And I am sure, much like Zare Gakoro, that this will look different on different papers. I mean, while we have View Corona here, I mean, oh wow, things are happening. Different things are happening here, as I have totally lost my dip nib holder and my sanity. Okay, so you can see why I've been loving View Corona versus Cosmo Airlight lately. Look at how cool this ink looks. These two little areas aren't all the way dry yet, but it's so strange. It's not as crazy as Sheen, like it's not as harsh, but you still get this very cool dark and saturated color changing properties with these Gakoro inks. And then we have Suki Gakoro, which should be like a greenish teal version of this. Wow. Even if you don't do the thing, this is a gorgeous teal. Let's check it out on View Corona. Yeah, this is gorgeous. Oh my God, super excited. Oh, whoa, it is looking totally crazy in a good way and different on View Corona. Wow, okay, hold on. Like, do I put it in green or what? Where do I put that? Or do I put it in blue? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, look at it here, very teal. Look at it on View Corona. I don't even know what this is, like an olivey red tan in there. It's crazy. That's what I was looking for with this. And then even on my Kikuyo paper in my ink directory, it even looks different. So very fun, very interesting inks in this line. And so I'm happy to have added those to my always growing ink collection. So also during my workshop with Abby C, I got to swatch some other Sailor inks as well, the USA series, some of the Shikiori inks, and that was really fun. Abby's workshop in general was really nice. My table mates were so sweet, and it really got me excited about everyday journaling and really being intentional with journaling and not necessarily putting a lot of pressure on myself to do it, even though my journal is a little more public than most, to still just have fun and think about the layout and think about some of those things, because that's fun for me as well as a designer. Also did an urban sketching workshop, which was really fun. We got to draw a space heater as well as a tree, but it wasn't really about the drawing of it all because I went to college for art. I have my bachelor's in visual art. It wasn't really about that. It was about taking the time, being outside with people and drawing and really looking at things and really focusing in and kind of getting in that zone and not thinking about everything else. And it was on Saturday during the show, which was the most crazy day. And so it was the nicest thing to just get away from all of that, be outside and draw. So I had lots of fun with that. And then also there was this big D-Stash meetup where there were tables everywhere and people just had lots of stickers and ephemera and notebooks and inks. So I did grab some inks. I'm not going to swatch them, but I got Diamine, Schubert, Van Diemen's Laughing Kookaburra Crest, FPR, Gilded Ivy Shimmer, and Organic Studio Santiago Sea Blue, which is a teal because I have a problem. So I grabbed some of those. The D-Stash meetup was super fun, and I think there should be more of that energy in pen shows in the future. I know that at stationery events that is a commonplace thing, but definitely would like to see that more at pen shows. Okay, let's move on to nib grinds. I sat down with 6 different nibmeisters this time around and enjoyed conversation and the encouragement and guidance when it comes to my own nib grinding questions and my journey there. I haven't been able to grind nibs as much recently just because it's been crazy. I've been traveling a lot. We've moved. It's been wild and wacky, but I do have it set up. And I did bring my architect for Kirk to check out. Annabelle checked it out, and Damien with All in the Nib checked it out. And so I had really great feedback and help when it came to that. So I'm not going to be super long-winded, I don't think, with The nib grinds that I got, I brought them all kind of loose like this, and I had one pin, maybe two pins that I just swapped in and out the nibs during the appointment. So on a silver Yovo, I got the Katana grind from Kirk Spear. I really love this one. It's like a naginata togi style grind. And yes, I already have this one on another pin, but I don't have it with a silver plated nib. And so now we're getting into being crazy and having me wanting to have my favorite nibs on silver and gold so I can match them to pins appropriately. Also, thanks to Olivia for switching appointments with me because I did double book. I got the Senkakusen grind on a gold Yovo nib, and CY's assistant did this for me actually. CY's appointments went so quickly and I wasn't able to get one, but then they opened up more appointments with his apprentice who does all of the same grinds, and CY is right there giving it a second eye and answering questions. So I'm super stoked about this one because this one is definitely one of my favorite grinds as well. Again, one of those naginata togi style grinds. I sat down with JJ Lax and that was super fun. It's my first time sitting down with him, and I got the Big Bottom Girl on a silver Yovo nib. He was such a joy to talk to. We spoke Dune and other things. So yeah, I got the Big Bottom Girl, which is a slicey little cursive smooth italic type of grind. We'll talk about them. I'll show them to you. Like when we do currently inked and custom grind videos, we will get into them. So I got that. And then I also grabbed a regular old cursive smooth italic because I realized that I didn't have one on a gold Yovo nib, which is wild. I really like his. It's nice and slicey. We added a little bit of smoothness to it, but such a fun CSI. I also sat down with Damien for the first time at All in the Nib, and he hooked me up with a cutlass, which is really fun as well. At this exact moment, it escapes me what it is. I think it is a Japanese style, but I will report back once I play with them and I have more knowledge. And then thank you, Lisa. She had an appointment with CY, and she is just the sweetest human ever, but she split it with me. And so I got CY's Techo grind on this gold Yovo nib. So if you were keeping count, what's that? That was 5 nibmeisters. I also sat in with Annabelle for an assisted surprise. Let's talk pins. So this is a pin that I got at the San Francisco Pin Show. This is by Sei, S-E-Y, out of Japan. And this is just a beautiful work of art. This technique is called chinken, and the artist carves out all of these lines and the stippling here that you see, and then fills it in with different materials, dust, gold, whatever. And so this one I just thought was super pretty. This is Ebonite, and I love octopi, I love branches, I love organic, flowy shapes like this. So I really fell in love with this. I got this with a medium nib, regular old kind of Yovo style nib. However, the assisted surprise was a harmonic nib from Annabelle. My husband surprised me with this as I got to my Annabelle appointment. So this, let's see how close we can get it in there. This nib is just spectacular. Annabelle makes it just straight up from gold. She is a goldsmith. She is an engraver, and it is just divine. And so on this nib is like a fine cursive smooth italic. My husband did ask me at some point, if I could have my dream fountain pen, like what would the nib be? And so I said either fine, but if we're going like grind wise, maybe like a finish cursive smooth italics. So that is what we have here. And this pen immediately got inked with one of these Kobe inks. I think the Sumiyoshi Brown. So yeah, this is just luxurious. I called my husband after and I was like, I cannot adequately thank you for this. I don't know what to say. So yes, this is the Say Fountain Pen with the harmonic nib by Annabelle Opus Cineris installed. Okay, and then the rest of the pens, I feel like I did a really good job. I don't have a ton of pens to show you. I got this from Studio. I'll put it here because I don't know how to say it. I've asked several people. No one knows how to pronounce it. But if you watched the prep video, you know this was on my list. I really like the white one. There's just something really classic about it. And then Kirk at Pen Realm had some of these engraved nibs, and I just thought it would be kind of badass to have like a black nib with a snake on it as well. So love that. It is a cartridge converter. Love this pattern on here. And, you know, it is Deftones coded. Deftones came out with Private Music, which the album cover looks like that. And then it's also Taylor Swift rep coded. So like two of my favorite things mixed up in one pen. I also kind of stumbled upon this pen from Peyton Street Pens. I thought the color was beautiful. Let me move this out of the way. Like this stone gray. It's textured as well. I just thought it was really classic looking. It has an ink window. It's a piston filler and the knob is just so flush. It doesn't have a nib in it right now, but there it is. There's the piston. And it's nice and chunky. This brand is called Mondu, M-O-N-D-U. And I don't know much about them. I, right before turning on the camera, went to their website, but I couldn't find this exact pen. I found a model called, I think the Pioneer model that looks similar, but it wasn't, like it didn't have an ink window and I wasn't sure if it was a piston fill. So don't know too much about this one either, but I'm very excited to put it to use. I think it's gorgeous. And then the last pen that I got was on the very last day. I saw this pen on the way to Yamamoto Paper On the first day, and it was actually my first stop. And I looked at it and I said, wow, this is gorgeous. It was a good deal. Like there was a little discount for it. However, I just was like, I am going to be in trouble if I spend this much money right off jump. Like this is the first pen that I've picked up. I'm going to see so many pens. I wasn't going to do it right off the bat, but I ended up last day still thinking about it. Went over there. It was still there, still with a discount, and I grabbed it. So this is a Pilot Namiki Vanishing Point with some lovely artwork happening. And I don't know, it's just really subtle. And I mean, I know I love a vanishing point, so that's easy peasy. I don't know if it looks better on the white or on the table here, but it is just lovely. It's a little gothy even, which I always like that vibe as well. And yeah, I got it in a medium, but doesn't really matter because we'll throw something else in it or get a grind on this or something, but beautiful. And I felt like it was a really great deal from Aesthetic Bay, and they're out of Singapore. I think they only show in the States at the SF Pen Show, but they always have really good deals and do recommend them if you find yourself at the San Francisco Pen Show. and yeah, they definitely took care of me. So those are my pens. I feel like I did really well for pens, but I mean, they are little, for the most part, especially these two, more luxurious than my normal hauls. And so, yeah, here we are. I had an amazing time at the San Francisco Pen Show. It feels almost impossible to try to recap in this video, honestly. I had an amazing roomie. I got to hang out with amazing people. Some I met for the first time. Some we've seen each other a few times this year, but I always enjoy it. I will say that this pen show was super busy at times. It was insane, wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder. Like, it was hard at times to even see what was on the tables. And even like once you got to a table, you kind of felt bad for taking up space, or at least I did, and taking up time when there's people, you know, behind you or beside you that maybe want to see the same things. There was only one time in particular, sometime on Saturday, where I was just like up against the wall and I was like, this is not fun. But for the most part, it was lovely. Will not complain about that. Like, it's so cool to see and hang out with so many people that are passionate about pens and inks and stationery and journaling. And I don't get that a lot in my everyday life. And so it's just so nice to be around that type of energy. So my thoughts on scheduling for pen shows. I feel like I have cracked the code. This is how you do it. Like, on Friday, hold on a sec. I wanted to show you my new MST. So I had an MST from Endless Pens. This is a Magna Carta Flex pen. I did a short on it, and I mentioned the cap not having great clearance. And so that pen got fixed at the San Francisco Pen Show. But if I wanted to, I did, they let me pick out a different color distribution, like a different pen body. And so I did as well. So same pen, fixed cap. None of the other pens had that cap issue. So I guess I had like a defect on mine. And so I take it back. It's a great pen. It's beautiful. So very excited about that as well. I just saw it up there and I was like, oh yeah, there's this too. So I was talking about scheduling. I cracked it. So on Friday, it is a busy day. Fridays are crazy. However, get your shopping done on Friday. Like the bulk of it, if you have things on your wish list, if there are exclusives that you're looking for, like Friday, go in and be balls to the wall. Saturday is going to be busy because I think that's when the bulk of people go because it's the weekend, no work, all of that. So on Saturday, do events, do workshops, get out of there. Like, go in there for quick little walk arounds, but don't plan on shopping hardcore or putting too much energy into anything except for workshops and events. Sunday, nib appointments. Do the nib appointments on Sunday because you have time to think about them. Sunday's chill. Getting nib appointments are chill. And also, you can get nib grinds on some of the things that you pick up at the pen show. That's my opinion on the perfect pen show schedule. Let me know your thoughts. So just a couple more things. I did have the all access pass, so I was able to get in 1 to 2 hours before the general admission. I did like having that pass. I thought that although Friday was still super busy during all access, it was still worth it. Like on Saturday especially, it was much calmer before, like, and we got all our shopping done and then walked out and saw this huge general admission line. However, I think that the all access passes should be limited to pre-sale, in my opinion. The rooms were pretty tight. There was a main ballroom, there was a foyer, and then there was maybe 5-ish small rooms, but those small rooms were really small. They were really tight. So that was something. Just be aware that it gets crowded. But I think as long as you set your expectations, then it isn't really that big of a deal. But overall, I so much enjoyed the show. I so much enjoyed meeting some of you. I appreciate the encouragement and kind words. I saw someone's amazing ink directory usage. Like, I didn't get a picture, but I was all up in it. Like, my nose was like in her ink directory, and it was so beautiful and so cool to see. Shout out to the usuals, the massive dinner crew, the after dark crew, the Bips, Megan, Victoria, Austin, Ryan, Susan, Suzette, Mickey, Raj, the San Francisco Junk Journaling Club. Thanks for saying hello and for the kind words. I super appreciate it. The people are the best part of a pen show always. If you were there, I want to know your thoughts in the comments. I'm also down for questions, reactions, commentary. It's all very much welcome down there in the comments. Subscribe to see this stuff in action, more pens, inks, journals, and planners. Thanks for being here so much, and I will catch you all in the next one. Look at these. Oh my God. Obsessed. Obsessed.